A little bit, I really want to show you some of these servers and take you through what we've done. So the first server is the DL580. What's great about the DL580 is, over 1 terabyte of memory coupled with 6 plus 5 high performance I/O slots. So you get a total of 11 I/O slots using the highest performing Intel 7500 processors with 1 terabyte of memory for ultimate consolidation. This box right here will achieve a 91:1 scaling as it compares to just a G4 rack server of 3 generations ago. That means that you can, same compute capacity, same memory, same I/O expansion, that's the kind of consolidation that you can do here with that resiliency that I talked about. And very easily modular, you pull this out, you plug in the memory modules if you need to add more. And you'll notice as I go through here a lot of common mechanical designs. What does that mean for you? Well, it means that you can deploy all these systems and you have common processes for upgrading memory. And it also allows us, again, to more deliver to you innovations quickly across our portfolio and be very cost effective in doing that. So you get the world's best innovation across all these platforms and you get common processes and upgrades. So that's the 580, 3 times the performance over just the G5 version. Okay? And then I also tell you just this week, correct me if I'm wrong, team, that this server right here is now the #1 fastest virtual machine server on the planet. So that's pretty cool, right? All right, that's the new 580. Then we have the new 585. And you notice kind of common mechanical, similar ways to upgrade memory. The new 585 is amazing, and that has a 30-day ROI versus 3 generations ago. This is based on the AMD processor. You get double the performance at 30%. So you kind of get that 4-socket scalability at the price points of 2-socket servers. So incredible ROI on the new 585 server. Common systems. And I want to kind of show something here. I meant to get this out earlier. As Dave talked about, data center smart grid and tying these servers directly with an energy-aware, intelligent power fabric, this same power supply works here, as well as works here on the 980. And what that means to you is that we can always deliver to you rapid advances in power and cooling technology so that you can take advantage without upgrading your entire infrastructure. So right now we have some of the world's most power-efficient power supplies, but I'll tell you the technology continues to move forward. And with your G7 ProLiants, we're able to deliver that to you in a very quick fashion from an innovation perspective and allow you to tie right directly back into the power distribution units and see exactly what's going on from a power perspective. The next server here is the 980. This is an 8-socket server. You notice anything similar? Common memory architecture. But what's special about this server is we work closely with Intel to design a special node controller to do things like smart CPU caching so that we're breaking through the bottlenecks of large scale-up x86 systems. And so this has a special HP node controller in there to do smart CPU caching. The other thing is for ultimate consolidation, this has the availability and the self-healing that we talked about, and that node controller also gives you the scalability from an I/O perspective. So 8 sockets of the high-end Intel 7500 processor, joint project with Intel, incredible scalability. This is a whole new category of ProLiant server that we're launching here with you this week. So this is the 580. And then I mentioned that we have significant announcements in the blade front. Very, very exciting. 7 new blades. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to go through some really industry first. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is the world's first terabyte memory server blade. This is one of the most scalable 4-socket servers on the planet. This server right here has 1 terabyte of memory, so very comparable to that 580 down there. But also built in, it has 60 gig, I said 60 gig of I/O that is flexible and can be carved up virtually to connect to any network. So with 1 terabyte of memory, Intel's fastest processors, 4-socket server with 60 gig of flexible fabric, really an industry first. And I want to compare this server. How many of you remember when IBM kind of announced their EX5 architecture and they said we've got the most memory or whatever? This has 40% more memory than IBM's biggest, baddest 4-socket blade server, just 1 terabyte versus 640. We have 60 gig of standard flexible fabric I/O that can be carved up into Ethernet connections or fiber channel SAN connections of whatever performance you want, connected to any network. They have 4 gig. 60 gig versus 4 gig. 1 terabyte of memory versus 640 gig. This is what a 4-socket blade server should look like. Do you agree? Great product, and I'm proud to say that this was a joint R&D project between us and Intel, because you can't innovate this much without kind of key partners working closely with you. So great joint innovation product from Intel and HP, and that's what HP is all about, is partnering to deliver you solutions that matter. And then this product's pretty special too. I mentioned the world's most scalable 2-socket server. So think about, sorry guys, think about those Intel 7500 processors, Xeon processors, but 2 of them with 512 mega RAM with 40 gig of flex fabric. So that's an incredible amount of compute capacity. This is the ultimate 2-socket consolidation platform, ready to connect to whatever network, and you can carve that 40 gig of flex fabric up into Ethernet, fiber channel connectivity, iSCSI, ready for whatever you want to throw at it in a 2-socket platform. So again, a whole new category of server has been introduced, and again, this was another joint research project between HP and Intel. And I want to mention, the 460, we've also updated the 460. That is the world's leading density optimized server. No other, whether it be 1U rack mount server or any other blade on the market, outsells that. So the #1 density optimized server on the planet, we've added flex fabric capability to it. But I want to point out one other product. And this is the 2x220. Today, Blade System comprises over 200 of the top 500 supercomputers in the world. Think about it. This one infrastructure is over 200 of the top 500 supercomputers. This blade right here has 4 processors, and when you look at it at a rack level, 128 2-socket servers in a rack for the most incredible compute density in a very energy efficient package. But we didn't stop there. We also added to every one of these compute nodes a high performance, low latency 40 gig fabric. So every one of these blades has 40 gig fabric built into it for the most incredible compute node on the planet. Now, is that cool or what? 128 nodes, 18 teraflops of compute capacity in one rack in an incredibly energy efficient, cost effective, scalable architecture. That's innovation that matters. Now, let me compare and contrast to the competition would take 2.5 racks to do what we can do in one rack. And in those 2.5 racks, they'd have to add 128 extra I/O adapters just to meet that. So 1 rack versus 2.5 racks. 2.5 racks has to add another 128 I/O adapters to get close to this. Which do you think is going to win? Great problem.